This is where we left off in the last lesson that we did, and we're going to go ahead and make this a little bit more functional. So the next step we're going to do is go in here, and we put that yellow background on there only because we just wanted to make sure everything works. But that's not really what we want. We want to have a navy blue background. So again, we'll go to our favorite HTML kit. HTML, not HTMLcolorcodes.com. Go to colors. Actually, we already have that color, don't we? It's navy blue. All right, and that's what we want to make that. So I didn't need to go to HTML color codes, but it's good to have it because we might use it. All right, so let's go back. I'm just going to copy that, and I'm going to paste it over the yellow. And then we'll do File and Save All and refresh. Boom. And you can see now that since the nav and the background both have the same, it's going to hide any problems that we have with the navigation. All right, now we're going to need to go ahead and create main. So main is underneath the nav. So let's go ahead and create it now. Usually we have it up at the top after body, but for this project, a little bit different because navigation is above the main. So we'll have main. And for main, we wanted to have a width of 97%, just so we can see a little bit of the dark blue background. We want to center it on the page because there's going to be 3%. So we want to put 1%, 1.5% on each side. So we're going to give it a margin of 0 on the top and bottom, and auto left and right. And let's go ahead and give it some padding so we can get the objects away from the wall. So we'll go ahead and just give it a general padding of 10%, 10 pixels. I hate when it does that. Why doesn't it know what I want? 10 pixels. So that's going to be up, down, left, and right. And the last thing we want to do is give it a color. And you surely shouldn't have a gazillion different colors on your site. So we're going to go ahead and use this one that we've already used, and that's that mouse over color. It's a pretty color, so let's go ahead and use that. Control C, Control V. All right, and let's do a file, save all, and then refresh and see what happens. Boom. All right, so there's our navigation. And then here's all the rest of our stuff. There's not much to see. If I click on sandwiches, it just moves up a little bit, but that's because we have to do the next part of our CSS. So when a person clicks on these links, we want each of these to be like its own separate page. So we're going to be using a measure that says that for this header section, and for all these sections down here, I want them to take up the entire container height. So let's see, we haven't gotten anything yet. So the next thing we're going to do is do our header. And that header is going to have a minimum width, with a minimum height of 100 VH. So VH stands for viewport height. And that's the entire inside this area here. And whatever it is, we want it to take up that entire space. We use minimum height because if the content exceeds the 100%, we don't want it to go outside of the container. We want the container to get bigger. So we use a minimum height, saying at the minimum it's 100, but if it's say 150 VH amount of content, which it will be as it gets narrower, we want the container to get bigger, not be stuck at 100 VH. All right, and then we also want to do that for all the sections. Now I could have did header section, but I'm going to need to be able to add some styles onto each of those, and they're going to be different. So no sense. It doesn't save us that much by not doing two separate ones, but you could if you wanted to. So midna height, 100 VH. All right, now we've done it. Now let's see what we have. We'll do File, Save All, and refresh. And now when we go to About, you can see that now this is working much better. The only problem is I have to keep scrolling up and down. And what we want to do is we want this nav to actually follow me down the page. And what we're going to do next. All right, so the nav, we want that to move. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some absolute positioning. We're going to say that the position, uh-oh, that's not right. What's going on here? Look at this. I'm missing semicolons. So whenever the color's not right, you need to check and figure out what it is, because that's telling you that danger will Robinson. All right, so after the background, we want to say position. Now it's, whoops, what the heck is that? Position, tab. And we're going to make it fixed. Now fixed is a special kind of absolute positioning that says, I want this to be at a certain spot on the page. And now we tell it where on the page we want it to stay, and it will always stay there. And this is going to be at the top of the page, 0 pixels. So if I did top 10 pixels, it'd be 10 from the top, or I did 100 pixels, it'd be 100 from the bottom, or I did a bottom, it would come from the bottom. I can stick it anywhere I want. All right, and let's just go ahead and see what happens when I do this. We'll do File and Save All, and refresh. All right, not much difference. All right, you can see now we're having a problem because it's covering the text. See, there's text for the About. But as I move down the page, and you can see that from the scroll bar, it's moving down with it. It's always staying at the very top of the viewport. Problem is, we have this is only up to here, and we actually want this to go all the way across the page, and we want to not cover up all the text as we come down. So let's go ahead and do that. The first thing we want to do is we want to make that wider. When we give it an absolute positioning, it's outside the DOM, and then it takes up only the amount of space that is in the content. So let's go ahead and move that out. So we're going to go to Nav, and I'm going to add another, and that's going to be the width. And we already learned what to do. We're going to do 100. Instead of VH, it'd be VW, and that is, I want it to go across the entire screen. And I'll do File, Save All, and refresh. Boom. There we go. So that works. All right, now the next thing we want to do is I need to, so when I go home, it's the main is underneath there because it's been removed from the DOM. So I need to move it down. And if I right mouse clicked and saw how much width this is, it'll be 67 pixels in height. Well, we don't want to do exactly 167, so we'll fudge it up to 80. So let's do that. We're going to go to main, because remember, main is below nav. And what we want to do is we're going to give it some margin. Oh, actually, we have some margin here, don't we? So let's see. We're going to do 80 pixels up and down, because the down doesn't make a difference. And then auto across instead of 0, and that will move this main down so we can see what's in the header. All right, so let's do File and Save All and refresh. All right, so now you can see I have some fudge room there. Now let's move that down. I need to do the same thing with my section. So each of the sections also have to have that. So let's see. So header is taken care of by main, but section also needs to have, but I can't use margin because I don't want to separate it from each section. What I want to do is just move the text down. So I'm going to use padding for that instead. So padding top, and it's going to be 80 pixels and a semicolon. And we'll do File, whoops, File and Save All, and refresh. And now we can see the text in each of the places. Pretty cool. All right, so the next thing I want to do is I want to have it so that instead of these all being the same all the way down, I want to have it so that some of them have the light blue background and some of them have a white background. We can even do two kinds of blue, but let's just do white for now. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to do a pseudo selector for that. And we've already been doing a bunch of those. So I'm going to do section and then colon, and that's where our pseudo selector comes in, and then nth dash child. And then I'm going to, oops, then I need a parentheses, and then I need a brace. So inside here, what I'm saying is, so first child is the first one, last child is the last one. What if I want the third one? It's nth child 3. Well, here I want to have every other one, so I'm going to do even. And I'm going to say for each of the sections that are even, that is 2, 4, 6, 8, well, whatever, I want the background color to be white. And again, I could do that, or I can do RGB 255, 255, 255, 255. But white and black, we're allowed to go ahead and put the colors in. So we'll do File and Save All, and then refresh. Whoops, refresh. So this right here, this is header, and that is the first child. About is the second child. Sandwich third. Crew fourth. And contact fifth. So you can see that we're going to have different background colors as they go, and it's going to make a person think that they're going from page to page, not that they're going to be on the same page all the way around. All right, so if we take a look at if you want to see where that comes in, we have main, and then header is the first child, section is the second. So if we're doing even, it's going to start at 2 and then go to 4, and that's why that works that way. All right, that's it, and we're going to work on the next page.